Hi everyone, my name is Michael Mills. I'm a senior here at Harriston State University. My major is business administration with an emphasis in entrepreneurship, and I will be graduating this spring. So here I have my Google Ethics case study presented by Michael Mills, like I said. The presenter title, senior student at the Harriston State University. And this presentation is presented to my management and organizational behavior class. This is for Professor Smith, and then my presentation date is October 14th. So here we've got the table of contents. We've got page 1, which is the cover page, which you just saw. We've got page 2, which is the table of contents, aka this page. We've got the company introduction on page 3. We've got the executive summary on page 4, case study findings on pages 5 and 6. We've got solutions in page 7 and 8. We've got a summary on page 9, and then our bibliography runs from page 10 to page 11. So here we've got a little bit about the company Google itself. I know you guys probably know a lot about them. We use them just about every day, from Googling our favorite sports teams schedule, to our grandmas looking up their favorite recipe. Google's a very versatile company. um, and let's get into this here. So when someone says Google, we immediately know what they're talking about. Google is a multi-billion-dollar tech company, famous first for its search engine technology. Now, though, they are known for just about anything and everything you could think of, from cell phones and internet browsers to mobile hotspots and TVs. Simply put, Google is used by a wide range of individuals, whether it's grandma looking up her next fantastic cookie recipe or your average Joe looking up his favorite football team schedule. Google is the common factor. What many of Google's users don't know is how the company itself came to be. Google was founded by Larry Page and Sergey Brin in their Stanford dorm room. Larry was a grad student at Stanford and was put in charge of showing Sergey Brin around the campus, as he was a potential graduate student at the university. After spending a summer together, the two developed and ran a search engine called Backrub. That Backrub was Google's original name. Their plan was to develop a search engine that would promote the best and most pertinent information links listed in order of apparent relevance. Backrub became extremely successful and later changed its name to Google after they received an investment of $100,000 from an investor. With this investment, they moved their operation from their college dorm room to a garage. This was the beginning of Google, who came to be known as one of the world's biggest tech innovators and leaders. So here we got the executive summary. This is much shorter compared to the last paragraph. So the executive summary basically describes why I'm doing this case study and what the case study will be about. So the purpose of this case study is to show the shortcomings Google has had in regards to their ethical behavior when it comes to equality within the institutional work environment. There have been several accusations of workplace misconduct made by current and former Google employees. These accusations state that they have been mistreated and underrepresented due to their color and sex. This case study will provide you with these examples in detail and also provide you with proposed changes Google can make to adapt their work environment to be more open-minded and diverse. Google is a great company, but that doesn't mean they're perfect. So here we've got the case study findings. I won't read these all the way through, but I'll just kind of explain to you the three different things that I found on Google's track record. So the first one was brought to light in 2020 when April Curley, who was a former Google employee, filed a federal lawsuit against Google claiming that she was unlawfully terminated. Basically, what she was saying was that she developed a report about Google's racist and prejudiced behavior in the workplace, and she informed her managers of this and then was terminated because of this project that she was undertaking. So her and a bunch of her, she's an African American woman, and her as well as many others band together and sued Google in order for, some sort of payment because she was unjustly treated based upon the fact that she was an African American woman, and many others in the lawsuit were minorities as well. So that kind of wraps that first one up. So the second ethical dilemma was that Google had was when they fired Timnit Gebru. Gebru was the head of the Ethical Artificial Intelligence Division, where she was part of a minority. So Timnit Gebru was part of the 3% of black women that Google employed. So as you could tell, there's not many people like her there. And basically, she was researching racial bias and discrimination when it comes to Google searches themselves. And she came to some pretty prominent information through her research. She released this information and then was instructed by Google and her executive managers that she needed to retract her findings in her paper that she had written about what she found. Obviously, like the good researcher she was, she did not take back her words and she did not go back and, disown all the hard work that she did. So she was fired, obviously unjustly as well. And now she's, sort of known as someone who stands up for uh, racial injustice and underrepresentation as far as tech goes. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the tech industry is 80 to 85% white males who work in the tech sector. So she kind of sticks up for the minorities and promotes minorities working in tech, which I think is great. The third and final example I have of Google's continued ethical issues came on November 1st, 2018. On this day, Andy Rubin, who was a former Google executive, was paid nearly $90 million to step down from his position. There were many women who came up and spoke out about having inappropriate sexual relations with Mr. Rubin, and these were not really consensual. He sort of used his power to coerce these women, like I said, into sexual relations. There are multiple women, and on November 1st, 2018, 20,000 Google employees got up from their desks and had a walkout. They marched out of their cubicles, out of their offices, and they protested. They protested the payment to Mr. Rubin to step down. And the main thing about this walkout was the fact that Google had proof that these accusations were not just accusations, that they were legitimate claims, and there was sufficient evidence to back up these claims, and they still paid him $90 million. So I came up with a couple solutions through the research I've had, and here are those. So Google's obviously got a long way in regards to their ethics, from sexual assault scandals to racism and division in the workplace to even asking their own executive to denounce her hard work and research. It is safe to say that Google has some ethical issues. There is a bright side, though. That bright side is the fact that with error comes room for improvement. And then I get into the actual solution. So the first solution I came up with would mean that Google would add an anonymous ethics hotline. This hotline could be called by anyone and everyone. Its sole purpose would be to, in essence, be a lifeline for injustice or perceived misconduct anywhere throughout Google, throughout the world. The number will be posted at the time of hiring, and this would be included in the Google handbook. This line would ring someone from HR, and a claim would automatically be started. I think that this would help solve a lot of the social injustices, as well as the sexual misconduct by those in power. And I think this because this would allow people who, may not have as much power or who may feel timid or scared to reach out. This would allow them to reach out and either be anonymous or state their name and get a claim going, just to keep the ethics clean in Google. The next idea I had for a solution for their ethical issues would be for Google to start recruiting programs and scholarship programs in inner cities and underrepresented areas. I think that this would not only benefit the areas where these programs are being promoted, but it would also help the company, as there is much great talent and untapped potential in the areas where kids simply don't have the option to pursue tech or even college. It may not even be an idea to them. I think that with guidance and funding, these programs would be a big hit. Programs like these show dedication to not only the minorities and underrepresented, but to their company and their culture as well. I think that something like this would be a benefit to all parties, and I think that Google needs to take a serious look at doing something like this. So, in summary, Google is a great company, but no company is perfect. Google has been able to scale from a college dorm room to a multinational tech firm valued at over $300 billion and employing over 120,000 people. Even still, they have a long way to go when it comes to ethics. There have been many scandals and wrongdoings throughout Google's history, but I believe that if my proposed solutions are integrated, that they will be well on their way to improving their company culture as well as their companies and ethical principles. And then, so that's it for my presentation. And then here I have my bibliography with all of my sources. Scroll slow for you guys. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching my presentation. Everybody in the class, the management and organizational behavior class. Thanks, Professor Smith, for watching my presentation and giving me this opportunity. And I look forward to seeing my grade. Thanks, guys.